says you need a vacation for a view like this? Or, I wish there was a place to get in shape. Try getting on the beaten path. Discover an ever-expanding network of trails and greenways. Some quintessential southern beauty. Or romp through the woods in a magical land between the rivers. There's more to explore than you ever imagined. Beyond the swing sets. Breck, we are more than a playground.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Buggs Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hello and welcome to week 10 of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach. So very honored that you've allowed us to spend a little time with you since the last time we were with you a week ago. Welcome back, big guy.
It's good to be back.
Yes, sir. Always is. And it seems as though the older we get in life, the more we appreciate the old adage, there's no place like home.
It's no place like home in my bed.
Sleeping in my own self bed.
Oh, it felt good, Clarence.
I can imagine. Oh, before we get into the meat of today's show, got to thank a dear friend of the show, Tommy Chrysan, for filling in for you last week. Did an awesome job.
Well, Jonathan told me he did a good job, so I'm happy for TK. I know he would do good.
Oh, yeah.
You and he, y'all both love to talk.
Yeah, and the two of us go way back, so it was a natural fit, a good fit. Well, we start today's show, Coach, talking about LSU, Alabama. LSU and Coach O came to within a hair's breadth away from shocking the world. That's a tough one to swallow, Coach.
He wanted to be a Muhammad Ali. I shocked the world. I shocked the world.
Yeah. When you come that close, there's that bitter taste in your mouth. There's always the want to reflect back on what we could have done better. What do you say to your team after that?
A bitter taste. I heard people talk about bitter taste in your mouth when a victory or a loss or something like that.
Right.
But I never had a
Really?
bitter taste. I never tasted something bitter.
Something literally a bitter taste.
Oh, okay, now that makes difference. But I never tasted it.
Picky, I tell you.
But no, they obviously I did not see the game, but obviously they played well. They were, based upon the information gathered, 3 field goals opportunity, they passed.
Yeah.
And Coach O was feeling probably deep down inside, field goals not going to beat this team. We got to run it in, get some touchdown.
Yeah.
And on the road, I could sort of see that.
Yeah. When you look at how tough LSU played this Alabama team, when you consider they were literally the walking wounded going in to face the Crimson Tide. So many injuries, so many starters out, particularly on defense. That makes it even more impressive what they were almost able to accomplish.
Well, I got to give them credit with that week off. They did a lot of good planning. They made some good adjustments.
Yeah.
And they threw some things, obviously, at Alabama that they probably wasn't ready for.
No, they weren't expecting it.
And so you got to give some coaching, that there are some good coaching. And the other thing about the injuries, Clarence, sometimes it brings a group of kids closer together. And they played with the type of emotion and intensity that you maybe wouldn't get if the whole squad was there.
Right.
So the bonding is so critical in athletics because so much is based upon emotional output, the emotional energy that you give into the game.
And being fair about this, understanding the lame duck coach situation and what that is, who's to know, other than the individuals, whether or not their hearts were truly in putting out 110% every game. But situations like the injury situation, you allow guys to play that understand I'm auditioning for maybe the next coach or when this person in front of me leaves. And typically, if they get that mentally, you got a pretty good chance of winning no matter who it is you play.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I like the way you put that scenario together because you are auditioning for the next coach if you're a sophomore or junior or freshman. You're auditioning. So to make sure that the coach is going to look at the staff going to look at that particular film.
Right.
We want to know what they did against Alabama, who is the big, great monster.
Yeah.
And they held them down. What were they doing? Let's see what these kids did.
Right.
So I think that is going to go a long ways in how the next coaching staff does evaluate the roster.
As is typically the case, and this is probably why both schools have figured out, this game every year physically is probably the most demanding game they're going to play every year. And as a result, they both realized, we'll take a bye week for 200, please, Alex, before we play the LSU Alabama. That game physically, you know you've been in a battle when it's LSU Alabama.
Oh, yeah, you better believe it. You mentioned, but there are several games in the SEC that could fit that. True. You know, when Alabama plays Auburn, I think.
Oh, yeah, Iron Bowl.
That's why they Iron Bowl they call it.
Yeah.
When LSU played Florida, I think the same kind of intensity, and probably Ole Miss when LSU played Ole Miss
to maybe a little lesser degree, but I see where you're going. Yeah.
But the other game that LSU's got 2 more games on their schedule that they really going to be tested.
Yeah.
Texas A&M
and Arkansas.
You nailed it, Clarence. You nailed it.
Arkansas, always a slugfest.
A slugfest.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder how they're going to hold up when they're going through the last 2 SEC games against those 2 opponents because they're going to be slugging it.
Well, the good news is we're not going to have to wait all that long to find out. It'll be here before you know it. We have highlights from LSU's near miss at shocking the world. So we will roll those highlights, Coach, as we continue our conversation. You know, it's as amazing as it was to watch LSU institute the new defensive alignments and particularly the blitz packages. Obviously, they saw something that they didn't think Alabama could handle, and they went against the predictability factor that the coaching staff figured out. Okay, we see now. Everybody knows we're predictable. It's just a shame when you think, wow, if they had come to that realization earlier in the season, just think where this team could have been.
Yeah, but that's
I know it's hindsight is always 2020. I get it.
Yeah, because they just put in a package plays for that particular game.
Right.
That may not would have worked. Had they done that the whole year, Alabama would have seen it.
No, good
and they
point.
would have been ready for it.
Good point.
That's why you save certain packages.
Yeah.
That week off.
Uh-huh.
Allow you to do those packages.
True.
You know, and that's why Lester Miles, my friend Les, my boy Les, was a master. The grass-eating Les. He was master on the week off to put in that one-trick play. And Nick Saban knew it. He said, this guy will put in one-trick play.
The one statistic that I think literally jumped off the page at me looking at the box score and the statistical breakdown. LSU's defense held Alabama to 6 yards on 26 carries. That's insane, Coach.
Well, they played. That is insane. And for one game, they did it. They put literally everything together defensively for one game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Of course, now, when you also look at the stat line, something that was disheartening, in the second half, we outgained Alabama in yardage, 218 yards to 92, more than twice the offensive output as far as yardage is concerned. But yet and still, we couldn't turn that into points. That's tough. That's the tough pill to swallow.
And it is a tough pill to swallow. See, something about, I remember old George Allen used to say to his defense, you want to bend but never break.
Right.
Bend but don't break.
Right.
And I think Alabama I didn't see the game, but obviously that's what they did. They bend but they didn't break.
Now, while I am tempted to say and agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment, on the road against number 2, division rival, hostile crowd, I'm of the opinion you got to take the points, Coach.
Oh, yeah. Well, always.
When the opportunity presents itself, you kick the field goal.
But you see, the key is in Coach O's mind, and I'm playing devil advocate here.
Well, yeah.
That he's saying, we have to. Look at Nick! Look at a little Nicky.
Yeah, he knew he was in for a battle, Coach. You could see it on his face.
Oh, they call a hole in here. But, what O was thinking, we know we need to take the points, but if we're going to beat Alabama in Alabama, we got to score a touchdown.
Right.
That doesn't always work. You know, probably taking the points would have been to his advantage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you've got a Cade York kicking field goals, take the points, man. Take the points. It was interesting, and he may have summed up the greatest challenge in collegiate coaching when, in the post-game interviews, LSU quarterback Max Johnson said, quote, "We should have played like this every single week." Is that, from a coaching standpoint, particularly on the collegiate level, one of the top 3 challenges you're going to have with young people, getting them to realize this and then carry it out on the field?
That's one of the toughest. To get them to play up to their expectation every week is just so difficult. And it's even more difficult now, Clarence, because the coaches got to coach the parents too.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it.
And the street committee, and the administration, and
yeah, it just makes it so difficult. So where the coach maybe can ride that kid and get just a little more out of him.
Right.
They don't want him to ride. Don't ride my little Bobby Joe.
Right.
Let little Bobby Joe do what he wants.
What do you say to the person, though, that says, if you can't get excited every single week and give it 110%, and you're wearing the uniform of a storied program like LSU, if you can't do it here, you can't do it anywhere. What do you say to that person?
Clarence, they have to work to get the professionals to play up.
Yeah, ask the Saints.
And you mentioned 110. That ain't gonna get no 110. You're fighting to get the 100.
Right.
So they're incapable of doing beyond 100.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way it is. It's the change of time. And
yeah.
I remember when I was a youngster playing, it was mandatory that you give your very best, no matter what. It was Now, guys blame other people. They point their fingers.
Yeah.
First thing something happened, they're doing this.
That's right.
Why would you do that?
Always forgetting it. Every time you do this, that one pointing out is 3 of them pointing right back at you. When we come back after our first break of today's show, we'll shift gears from purple and gold to blue and gold as we continue week 10 of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Buck Show. Boy, if they only knew what goes on behind the scenes during commercial breaks and the like. Coach, let's shift gears and head across town from South Side up to the Bluffs. Jaguars taking on the renewal of what at one time was just an absolutely awesome rivalry, Florida A&M. Rattlers come to Baton Rouge. It was really nice to see the resumption, hopefully full-time, of this rivalry between two very storied HBCU football programs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, can you imagine Jake Gaither against A.W. Mumford? Oh, those, when they had all of the greatest athletes playing against each other.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bullet. Bob Hayes, the Bullet. Can you imagine being called the Bullet?
Yeah.
You had to have been fast.
Yeah, without a doubt. I was watching the replay, and I remember, and nothing has a way of making you feel old like athletics. Because I'm looking at the stands in Mumford to see what the fan turnout was going to be. And I realized back in the day, I used to watch Southern and Fam before there were any corners in the end zone, before there was any athletic training facility in the end zone, before there was a multi-story press box
Yes.
in Mumford, and it just gives you a greater appreciation for the history of these two schools. And it's just great to see this start out on a high note.
How was the attendance?
I would say maybe 65, 70% full.
Not bad.
Not bad, considering.
Considering, not bad.
Yeah.
Had they beaten, well, if they had won, who they beat Alcorn the week before, right?
Right.
Yeah, had they won then this weekend,
It
versus
probably would have been
Jackson,
standing room only.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you look at those the story history between FAMU and Southern, I'm happy to see it there in the SWAC because it just create a whole new dynamics.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you got another team that can bring the fan base. You see, and if both teams are good,
Yep.
and all those athletes in Florida and the junior colleges and the transfer portal, there's no telling what FAMU could do.
True.
Now that they're in the SWAC,
Yeah.
in terms of getting good players.
I'm sure that this had to have entered the conversation at some point when FAM was considering leaving the MEAC and joining the SWAC. To what extent the conversation was, I have no idea. I have no clue. But from all outward appearances, they timed that jump from the MEAC to the SWAC perfectly. Because here it is, first year football eligible in the SWAC. You got a 5-1 record. That's a heck of a statement to make your first year in the conference.
It is, and I don't know about the timing. They just maybe was right.
Right.
That Alabama State was a little down. A&M is Alabama A&M a little down.
Right.
Cookman is a little down. And of course Valley is down. So the one team they got is Jackson State. And that's probably who beat them, Jackson State. So I just think that, it worked pretty good in their favor. But I look for better things as we go down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Just the namesake. Even Dion was happy. Dion being a Floridian.
Oh, yeah.
He knew it. He said, this is good.
Yep.
You know? So I'm looking for good things to happen in football in this league now that you have Cookman and FAMU in.
Unfortunately for the Jaguars, it was deja vu all over again. Start out red hot, but then you fizzle out in the second half.
You sound like Yogi Berra, Dave you. They played really good in the first half. And obviously, FAMU did a good job of adjusting.
Oh, yeah.
And held them to no points in the second half. So it's just something that the young coaching staff, they'll figure out. Listen, I'm big on giving the coach more opportunities. He's going to learn a lot from this year.
Right.
Of the games that he could have won and he lost.
Right.
And he'll go back and do an assessment, not only of his staff, his players, but also of himself.
Well, we have highlights from A.W. Mumford Stadium on the campus of Southern University, so we'll roll those highlights as we continue our conversation. It's tough when you look at first half versus second half.
If that's Southern, we got a great. Boy, the uniforms are different for FAMU.
Yeah, the road unis still got that god awful orange and green, but they'll have that until the day they cease to exist. But that's a Florida thing. You know, they love their orange. Ask the Gators. That is what that is. But the first half, you rack up. Southern did 200 yards in offense, 17 points. Second half, only 51 yards and no points.
Yeah.
That makes for a long night, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm looking at that quarterback for FAMU. I like that quarterback. Like I said, I wasn't here to see the game. This is the first. He looks nice. He stays in there really tall. He got a good quick release. I look at Florida A&M. They run in good plays. I want to get back to you about the the 200-some yard in the first half,
Right.
and 51 in the second. That's again, it tells me that FAMU probably has a pretty good defense, and they got the kids to make adjustment. You know, I'm not saying Southern didn't make adjustment.
Right.
The kids probably didn't execute them. I'm
that-
sure. You got me?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the coaches went in and said, hey, we got to do this to the ABC. And they just didn't do the ABCs.
Yeah. Not only did they not do ABC, but they didn't do D either.
Hell.
There were penalties coming at costly times.
Yeah.
On top of the lack of execution.
Yeah.
Nothing will compound a problem like lack of execution than penalties.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I had the wrong people. Southern is in the goal, huh?
Yes, the gold tops and white pants.
Southern quarterback is the one looked nice. I had them all wrong, Clarence. Excuse my bad. As the young kids say,
As the young
my
folks say.
bad.
Yeah.
I used to get very angry as a coach when they said, my bad.
You're bad what?
My bad what? You better get this job done. You know, we don't hear this my bad stuff. I just said it.
Yeah.
Guys, don't hold that against me.
Do as I say, not as I do now.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Don't feel bad. I am the same way with the accepted phrase, even though it is grammatically incorrect as all day. My baby daddy.
My baby daddy.
Don't get me started on that. You have me showing how old I'm getting. And back in my day, we wouldn't stand for that kind of stuff. But you know, I found it interesting in the post-game interview where the coach and the starting quarterback harped on the fact that in this game, we struggled with little things like the correct lineup, little things like getting the play called in on time. It's not good when at this point in the season, only 2 games left on the schedule, and you're still trying to do the little things right.
Yeah. With some people, you know, that's the way it is. Boy, look at this. You know, I got to give the quarterback some. He was trying to kick it out of bounds. It happens like that, Clarence. Again, this is a whole new staff. You know, they're trying to put it together, and doing the little things sometimes becomes difficult. Difficult. This is where I heard that they made all those stops, and then finally the guy got in. But it's, you know, it is what it is, as people say.
You, as a former coach, when you see an individual that is carrying the title, quote, interim head coach.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as what coaches typically think that title means, as far as a time frame? What sort of expectations are there? Is there such a thing in coaches' minds that, okay, interim, this is what it involves? Or does it vary situation to situation, school to school?
It varies from school to school. The foolishness people talk make that interim thing worse than what it really is.
How so?
How so? Because they talk, and I find out that people, when they do a lot of talking, it applies a lot of pressure on the person who has to make the decision.
Right.
About the person with their interim tag on.
Okay.
There are a lot of good situations historically where the interim person has been a good guy,
right,
or a lady for the job.
Right.
They just have an interim tag on them.
Uh-huh.
And if you give them the space,
right,
to show you what they could do, they end up doing quite well.
The only caveat that I might want to inject in this conversation: how different are the rules for the interim, the new guy, when you follow the likes of a Dawson Odoms?
Well, you got to give them a little more breathing room, because you're following a pretty doing good coach.
You realize these are Southern fans we're talking about, right? You do realize that.
I did. I lost myself here.
Temporary insanity, y'all. This is the Jaguar Nation we're talking about.
I forgot who we were talking about. Those are the best fans there are.
Yeah, right. The easiest on the planet to get along with.
They're loving. They just want to win, baby.
Wrong answer. Thanks for playing today, Coach. When you're talking about following the likes of a Dawson Odoms,
yes,
on the heels of a Pete Richardson,
yes,
that leash is considerably shorter, is it not? And rightfully so.
Well, and no, that if you don't pay the money to go get that coach who you consider to be
then you
the
get
Pete
what you
Richardson,
pay for.
And this guy never been a head coach,
right?
So what you expect? You got to give him time.
Yeah.
If you make that decision, you go for a low budget.
Right.
Give him the time.
Yeah.
You got me?
Uh-huh.
And that's all I'm saying. But if you say I want to win now, go pay the dollars and you can get that person with the experience and the track record or resume, as you like.
Resume.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch.
He's not interim, is he? I thought he.
No, he's interim.
He is.
Jason Rollins.
He's interim.
Yeah, he's interim.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I thought they signed him. I didn't know.
Maybe I missed it, but
maybe the people in the truck can get that information for us.
Yeah.
That's what a good truck does, Alan.
Good luck with that.
Good. Marty doesn't know.
We and now covered blue and gold, purple and gold. So you know what's next, right? Yep, black and gold. When we continue week 10 of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient. They're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Who says you need a vacation for a view like this? Or, I wish there was a place to get in shape. Try getting on the beaten path. Discover an ever-expanding network of trails and greenways. Some quintessential Southern beauty. Or romp through the woods in a magical land between the rivers. There's more to explore than you ever imagined. Beyond the swing sets. Breck, we are more than a playground.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, this past Sunday, we all went through this twice-a-year ritual that we as Americans do. We spring forward for daylight savings time, and come fall, we fall back to the old time. The Saints obviously rolled their clocks back an hour. Problem was they forgot to wake up for Atlanta.
Hey, I didn't, you know what? I didn't know until midday Sunday that we had our time.
being out of the
I've
country.
been going for a while, and I didn't know about the time change.
Right.
And I knew something just didn't feel right.
Right.
So, Saints, you weren't alone.
No.
And I didn't have to play the game.
Why are we still doing that? Daylight savings time. I mean, initially, we were a highly agrarian society. More people had crops that needed to be harvested, and we're trying to transition to more kids getting an education. So there was a need for that back then. Why are we still doing this?
I have no idea. That's when I came from Central America. They don't do that down there.
Right.
So I was really I lost it or gained it out, whichever one.
Right.
I either gained or lost it.
You lost it.
I lost it. I didn't even know I lost it.
Yeah.
But there have been discussion to change it. But I don't know. We get used to doing stuff, and we don't want to go back away from it.
I think that more than anything plagues us in America as a society, and even in the way we approach some things in athletics. They don't make that much sense to us anymore, but after all, we've always done it that way.
Yeah, it's always have done it. Sort of like something else with school. We've always known school. So
Right.
when the kids were away from school, it didn't seem right.
Right.
Because we've always done it that way. And that's why we had to get them back in school.
Yeah. And at some point, and this is completely off topic, but
Right.
at some point, we're going to have to entertain year-round schooling.
Oh, yeah.
The model that we're using now is outdated.
Yes.
And every year, all that knowledge these young people acquired, giving them 3 months off at a time, I think is counterproductive.
I just think if you can keep them going, and we'll keep kids safer. Because they're at home and parents are working during the summer. I just think it makes sense to carry schools a little longer and give them a little less time off.
27-25 final score to, I hate to let it come past my lips, to the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Falcons of all people. You're down 24-6 in the fourth quarter. Fight your way back to lose it in the fashion they did. To me, it makes it that much worse. I'd rather you just lose 24-6. Don't fight your way, scratch, claw your way all the way back into it, and then lose out like this.
It happens, Clarence.
Oh yeah,
it
obviously.
does happen. But young quarterback. I don't want to say young, inexperienced. He did a really good job.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with the way they lost.
Really?
Yeah, I am. They
I don't know. Maybe I still have the proverbial bad taste in my mouth from the Minnesota game where.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
that one is different.
But you would think after that, and again, I know what you're going to say. These are professionals. The other team had something to do with it. But it seems like after that instance, you would do any and everything within your power to make sure this never, ever happens again. And we turn right back around after clawing and scratching and fighting and cussing and spitting and get all the way back and lose it like this.
It happens. If you live long enough, young man, you're going to see a few more like that.
Yeah, good point. Well, we have highlights, and we, of course, will continue our conversation as we ask the folks in the truck if they would be so kind as to roll the highlights from and I've got to get used to saying it, the Caesars Superdome. It no longer is Mercedes-Benz. Of course, now, if I were as smart as I like to think I am sometimes, the minute Atlanta picked up the name Mercedes-Benz.
We did.
No, when they did, I should have known right there. Mercedes-Benz is on the way out. Get ready for another name, because you're not going to put your name on two stadiums, two teams in the same division of football. That's not a good business model. As is many times the case, self-inflicted wounds, particularly. drop passes. At one point in the game, the Saints had more dropped passes than completed passes. That's tough on a quarterback that's trying to find a rhythm and establish himself in that role.
Well, I agree. And those are professional. You got to make, I saw a couple of replays where they should have made easy catches.
Right.
Would have made it so much easier for the quarterback, And, number 14 they got from Texas, Ingram. Ingram did a really good job complimenting Camara.
Yeah.
And
as we knew would probably be the case, a very warm welcome back to the Dome. The fans really showed their appreciation to Mark Ingram.
And he's good built for this offense.
Yeah.
Quick up the middle, he can do a good job. So,
is there anything in particular other than, I guess, just a general lack of focus that you point to? Because again, when you're talking professionals, when I see a penalty like lining up in the neutral zone or a false start, I mean, at this point in the season, if I'm watching a high school game, I can say maybe, well, okay, he's a little overactive, a little over-enthusiastic. But when you're talking professionals at this level, is that something that just permeates competition in general? Sometimes you're just trying so hard that you lose focus for a second?
Yeah, you could. We're dealing with human beings, imperfect people. Even though they're really superior, good athletes,
right?
They're still imperfect.
Yeah.
And mistakes are prone to happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes this thing so good is that the coaching staff that can coach that team to where they can make very few mistakes are going to be the ones going to enjoy success.
So
that's why they only have one team went undefeated in the NFL. One.
Yeah. Good point.
They didn't make a lot of mistakes.
Good point. So throughout history, as we've watched, there are certain teams coached by certain individuals. We know fundamentally they're going to be sound.
Yes.
Mental mistakes, they're going to make an absolute minimum number of them. Shooting themselves in the foot, not this team. They're not going to do it. How much of that is a bleed over from the coaches, the staff, the history of a franchise, and how much of that is individuals just taking pride in being a professional at what they do?
It's a little bit of everything.
A little bit of all of it.
All of them put together. Listen, when Belichick, his teams is known to not make a lot of mistakes.
That's who I was thinking about particularly.
Right.
Yeah.
But when he didn't have the talent or the right people, they made many mistakes.
Well, yeah.
The last 2 or 3 years, when Brady left, they started making a bunch of mistakes.
So, and I guess what I'm asking is, those of us that have been privileged in our lifetimes to see Packer teams under Lombardi, Patriots teams under Belichick,
Dolphins team under
Don Shula,
Steelers team under Chuck Noll.
Are we living vicariously through them, thinking everybody is supposed to be that way, even though we as mere mortals fall short of that every single day?
I'm not. You are. You're the one. I know they're going to fall short. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I know quite well there's going to be a whole lot of teams going to fall short.
Yep. Mama said there'd be days like this.
Days like this, she said.
Yeah. All in all, Trevor Siemian, 25 of 41, 249 yards, 2 TDs. You can't reasonably expect a whole lot more out of the guy than that, can you? I mean, considering all the drops that we had and the penalties,
look at that catch right
that's
there.
the one. I would have to look up at the screen right at that play.
That wasn't
Right at
really. The defensive guy did his job. I mean, it's just. I mean, Clarence, it happens.
Yeah, and you know, I understand. Quote, it happens. I get it. But the same way to the same team. At some point, you know, and I'm sure you have had some that you might not want to share with me or anybody else publicly. You've had things in life, and God knows I have. You've had things happen in life where you say, you know what? Come hell or high water, I'm not going to ever let this happen again. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care if I end up on the news. I'm going to make darn sure this never, ever happens again. And sure enough, is there such a thing as certain individuals, certain entities, certain institutions, because of their past history or whatever, if it's going to happen, it probably is going to happen to them. You believe in that?
Not necessarily, but I don't.
I don't
really
want to either, and I keep hoping. I keep hoping that my beloved saints will prove me wrong.
I don't believe in that. Like people where, you know, in baseball, guys don't want to step on the white line. I'll make sure I step on it.
Right.
Just to show them.
Right.
I'm stepping on this white line.
But then you turn around and you see the Saints turn right back around after
Forget the
scratching and
Saints. They'll
clawing
be
to get
okay.
back.
They'll be okay.
All right. Remember where y'all heard it.
Yeah, water under the bridge. They got to play next week.
Yeah.
This week.
And Tennessee's on a roll, so it doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier.
Just like the Jaguars got J-State rolling into Mumford, doesn't get any easier.
Just like LSU got Monroe coming in, doesn't get any
easier. Well, in that case, maybe a little easier, but I understand the sentiment.
I'm having fun.
Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back and wrap up week 10 of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Clarence is having fun, Al. Come and get him.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946. Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back for the final segment of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. You know, here in South Louisiana, with the fall temperatures starting to kick in and moderate things a little bit, it's that wonderful time of year on any number of fronts, but particularly for our friends, Coach, that love to hunt.
Right.
If you've been entertaining, as you get ready for a new hunting season, you've been entertaining the idea of a new 4x4 or a new side-by-side, or if you are considering a new or used motorcycle, let us wholeheartedly recommend our friends at Outdoor Powerhouse. These guys carry it all. We're talking motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATVs, personal watercraft, 25,000 square foot showroom. If they don't have it, they know where to get it, and they'll do it for you like nobody else. Kawasaki, Suzuki, Sea-Doo, Can-Am, Polaris, they run the gamut. And this time of year, holidays right around the corner, ladies, wink, wink. You want to be the hero in the house, get the hubby, get the guy in your life, that item that he's always wanted, you owe it to yourself. Go see our friends over at Outdoor Powerhouse. 2323 Florida Boulevard, that's in Denham. Short drive, great people, great selection, great prices, and more important, great service after the sale. Be sure, do us a favor, let them know that you heard about them on the Roger Cador Show. Coach, as we get ready to head into the final few minutes of the show, you were out of the country last week, so we didn't have the opportunity to tip our hat, but we need to do now to the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, they did a good job. Been 20, since 99, I think, the last time they won it. And my good friend Dusty didn't get to win it again.
Right.
But he's been there. He's been close. And so head off to my old former team, the Braves. They did it.
How much longer? How many years do you think Dusty has left in him as a skipper?
Dusty's got plenty of years left if given the opportunity.
Yeah.
He's a young 72.
Yeah.
He's a young 72 years old. Baseball doesn't take the wear and tear off you that, because the thing is even though you play 162 games and you do spring training and then the playoffs, it's really not, it's
a slower paced game.
Yes, it is.
And the physicality is not nearly as bad as it is in other sports.
Football and basketball, maybe football for sure.
Definitely football.
Oh, it takes its wear and tear. And soccer, if you're in Central and South America and Europe, soccer is demanding. They play year round, and it's so coaches get fired at the drop of the hat. So but it is. When I go to Central America, all you see is soccer.
Yeah.
Everybody got soccer.
Yeah. Or football, as they call it.
Yeah.
We all know better, but that's a different show for a different day. Odell Beckham has played his last down as a Cleveland Brown. What do you make of that situation?
Well, I look at those people who do what he does, and I try not to get too emotional involved in it because he's an adult.
Well, yeah.
And you're an adult, you have to understand consequences. Things you do, they have consequences. And so, you gotta be a team player. You've gotta bring something to that club, that dressing room, that is going to bring harmony with the team. These people are trying to win. They don't have time to deal with foolishness.
Yeah.
That's why when the coach of Mike Tomlin, when he had Brown, the wide receiver, and he posted something that they were saying in the clubhouse, and he said, "This is why guys don't last. Get cut and get traded. It's that kind of stuff you can't have that kind of guy in the clubhouse."
Of course, now the atmosphere that we fans many times help cultivate makes it tough for a lot of these guys, because throughout their entire career, anywhere Odell Beckham Jr. walked, if he just looked in that direction, people are falling all over themselves, and he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and give him what he wants, and we need him, and blah 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 blah. We kind of contribute to that too, though, don't we?
We did, and he ain't the same player he was 5 years ago. Let's make sure we get that
without a doubt.
Understood.
Yeah.
If he was, he would never have been cut.
Good point.
So he better understand he's on the backside, sliding very fastly.
Yeah.
He better understand that, because now, that's why no one has jumped in him right now. Is he worth it? That $7.2 million hit they're going to take.
Yeah. not to mention the hit that you might take as far as momentum in the locker room is concerned. Speaking of tipping our hats, we got the Braves in. LSU soccer going to the big dance. Found out yesterday that the committee has rewarded them for their 4 wins over top 10 teams this year. LSU soccer might be on the move down there, Coach.
Well, I don't know much about it, but congratulations.
Big time.
I'm giving them a thumbs up here.
Big time. And also, it is that time of year that we got to tip our hats to the high school football teams as well, because they're getting ready now to start the playoffs and make that march to the Dome.
Well, that's the exciting time of year in South Louisiana, where kids play football and friends and family gets together and they back them.
Yep.
It's a wonderful time because communities are involved now with high schools.
Yeah. Black college football. I was trying to remember the last time, and I haven't been able to peg it down, so you all forgive me, charge it to my head, not to my heart. 2 HBCUs ranked in the top 20, now top 25, actually, of the coaches poll. Jackson State, ranked number 18. Prairie View now, number 24. Good to see that recognition.
Yeah, that's pretty good for them because both of them have done very well. And, it's unfortunate for Dion had that surgery on his foot and he's still having some complications.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll get better and he could be here this weekend. I know the fans would love to see him.
Oh, yes, indeed.
It'd be
yes,
good for
indeed. One of the things that I ran across last night, and we've not had the opportunity to talk much about this, the NC2A is apparently considering forming another division. I don't know if it would be under Division 1, if you're talking about Division 1A or 1B or what have you, citing the disparity between budgets, even in lower schools in Division 1, between the haves and the have-nots. Good idea or bad idea?
Great idea. They probably need the top 5 conference by themselves. They're going to end up being by themselves anyway.
Right.
Then you got the second tier and then the third tier. I think you need 3 because you got the school's going to have $6 million and less can't operate against a school with the $15 to $20 million budget.
It's going to be interesting to watch because 2 of the teams that were mentioned in the article that I happened to read about this were SWAC schools, Mississippi Valley and Alcorn. Both of them have below a $4 million athletic budget. Valley, you could say it shows when you look at the product they put on the field. Alcorn, however, is a little different scenario, at least in football. $3.2 million budget total, but yet and still, every year, at least for the past 5, 6, 7 years, the road to the football championship in the SWAC goes through Lorman, Mississippi. We'll keep an eye on it, and if anything happens substantial, obviously we will pass that information along to you and yours as soon as we get it. On behalf of the entire crew, the guys and girls in the truck, the coach, Roger Cador, I'm Clarence Buggs. We'll see you next week with Week 11 and another exciting edition of the Roger Cador Show. Until then, go Jags, go Tigers, go Saints. Thank you, Mark.